Of the Central Arizona Concert Band.
Hey, hey, hey. Why do I have nothing?
The members of the Central Arizona Concert Band welcome you to our third 2020 summer concert at the Yavapai County Courthouse Plaza. We think we have a great program for you this evening, featuring good old concert in the park band music. Please welcome our conductor, Clydine Decker, to the podium. Please stand and sing along for the playing of the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? Washington, D.C. native and legendary bandmaster John Philip Sousa wrote operettas, operas, and over 100 marches. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps at an early age and became the conductor of the President's own Marine Band at age 26. In 1892, he formed Sousa and his band, which toured the United States and around the world under his directorship for the next 40 years. The Sousa Band's longest single engagement from September 30th, 1915 to June 4th, 1916 was featured at the Hip Hip Hurrah extravaganza at the New York Hippodrome. Sousa wrote the New York Hippodrome March in 1915 in commemoration of that engagement. And it was dedicated to Charles B. Dillingham, manager of the famous Old Theater. In a salute to Sousa on his 61st birthday, Dillingham arranged to have over 200 theater orchestras around the country play the march at precisely the same time. We begin this concert with the New York Hippodrome March by John Philip Sousa. William Harling was a composer of film scores, operas, and popular music. Born in London in 1887, he was educated in New York City. After working as an organist and choir director in Brussels, he spent 2 years at the United States Military Academy at West Point, where he composed the hymns, the corps, and its official march, West Point Forever. Harling began his Hollywood career in 1928. His film credits include The Vagabond King, This Is the Night, A Farewell to Arms, and Penny Serenade. Harleen won the Academy Award for Best Music Scoring of Stagecoach, 1939. Harleen's song, Beyond the Blue Horizon, with Richard A. Whiting, was popularized by Jeanette MacDonald in 1930 and Lou Christie 30 years later. The band will now play Beyond the Blue Horizon by Richard Whiting and William Harleen with lyrics by Leo Robin. Ohio native and self-taught composer Carl Lawrence King, 1891 to 1971, got his musical start in circus bands. He began writing circus marches, eventually amassing more than 300 light works. As a composer, King ranks with Henry Fillmore and John Philip Sousa as one of the most beloved composers in the history of band music. Melody Shop March is one of Carl King's most popular marches and one of the most popular marches of all time. Excerpts of the march are used for auditions for euphonium and baritone horn auditioning for a spot in a military band, a university band, brass bands, and city and state ensembles. King released this march in 1910 during his first year as a circus musician. The march was dedicated to E. Powell and Al Shortridge, owners of the Powell Music Company, Melody Shop in Canton, Ohio. The band will now play the Melody Shop March by Carl L. King. American composer, music educator, and film producer James D. Plohar was born in 1926. He attended Valley City State University in North Dakota and was initiated into Beta Rho chapter of Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia music fraternity in 1952. He originated the Fargo Big Bands All-Stars, a musical group that performed in and around Fargo, including regular engagements at Silent Movie Night held at the Fargo Theater. James taught 19 years in public school and was a clinician and conductor throughout the United States and Canada. He was considered one of the most prolific writers in the field of music education. The band will now play James D. Plohar's Salute to the Patriots, which is a musical tribute to the men and women who struggled to chart the course for these United States. The music alludes to war and the aftermath of war, events that were thrust upon us in order to enjoy our freedoms. Patriotic songs from our earliest history are included in this melody, leading to a stirring rendition of the hymn Chester by Williams Billings, which was the rallying music for the patriots of the Revolutionary War. Frank Leo Venter was born in Massachusetts in 1895. He was a composer, conductor, and trumpet player. He was the youngest American military bandmaster to serve in the First World War, and he left the Marine Corps after the war. As a trumpet player, Venter was a member of several military and civilian wind bands. He was the chief arranger for the City's Service Band of America and Paul Levar's 1964 World's Fair Band. He is best known for Our United States March, composed in 1949, and Wings of Victory March. From 1926 to 1933, he directed the orchestra of the Paramount Theater in New York. Venter was music supervisor for the Roxy Theater in New York City, the Holiday on Ice, and various industrial shows from 1933 to 1954. Frank Leo Venter died in 1966. Enjoy Our United States March, composed by Frank Venter in 1949.
Gary, wait a minute. Okay.
Leroy Anderson was born in 1908 in Cambridge, Massachusetts, the son of Swedish immigrant parents. Leroy began piano and organ studies early in his life. He went to college at Harvard University, where he earned bachelor's and master's degrees in music. He also led the Harvard University Band during his graduate studies. He was a prolific language learner. His PhD studies at Harvard were in German and Scandinavian languages. He became fluent in 9 languages. This unique talent led to his service as a translator and interpreter for the U.S. military during World War II and the Korean War. While thus engaged, he also found time to compose mostly in the light orchestral vein. Serenata is the Italian musical term for a serenade. Serenata was completed in 1947 for orchestra by Leroy Anderson. It was first performed in May 1947 as an extra at the Boston Pops with Arthur Fiedler conducting. Lyrics were added by Michael Parrish in 1950. Leroy Anderson was proud to have written such a melodic-based composition that such esteemed jazz singers as Sarah Vaughan have recorded it. It was also sung on the last jazz album recorded by Nat King Cole with jazz pianist George Shearing. The band will now play Serenata by Leroy Anderson. Charles Louis Singer was born in 1912 in New York City. Singer taught himself piano and was a child prodigy. His first musical love was jazz, which he called the true expression of 20th century America. He studied music theory, harmony, and counterpoint at Juilliard School of Music. Singer's first job was with W.C. Hardy, and he later worked as an arranger for Duke Ellington. He used this money he earned by arranging to further his music education. During the 1940s, Mr. Singer worked extensively in radio. He was named the New York Times Honor Roll for Radio and the Radio and Television Critics Circle. He worked as the staff arranger for Columbia Broadcasting Systems. Singer conducted for many years with High Zerit. Their songs of the Army Nurse Corps became the official anthem of the Army Nurse Corps during World War II. Zarek and Singer also wrote Young and Warm and Wonderful, recorded by Gene Pitney, Tony Bennett, and James Darren. In the 1950s, Mr. Singer wrote the piano arrangement for Kismet. Marinara is a romantic, melodic description of a young woman who lives south of the border. Enjoy Marinara by Lou Singer and arranged by Lucien Calais. Victor August Hubert, 1859 to 1924, was an American composer, cellist, and conductor. Hubert enjoyed careers as a cello soloist and conductor, but he is best known for composing many successful operettas that premiered on Broadway from 1890 to World War I. He was prominent among the Tin Pan Alley composers and was later the founder of the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publicists, ASCAP. Victor Hubert and his famous 22nd Regiment Band was selected to be chief performing ensemble for President William McKinley's 1897 inauguration, and their music thrilled over 20,000 attendees. Victor Hubert's McKinley Inauguration March, renamed the President's March, was dedicated to the President. The band will now play the President's March by Victor Hubert and arranged by Otto Langley. Harold Lawrence Walters was born in Arkansas in 1918. He began cornet lessons at the age of 8, later changing to tuba and string bass. After graduating from Little Rock High School, he received musical instruction at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music and the American University. From 1938 to 1943, he performed and served as chief arranger for the U.S. Navy Band in Washington, D.C. In 1947, he joined the Rubank Music Publishing Company as composer, arranger, and editor. His works included over 1,500 compositions, arrangements, as well as textbooks. Walters was respected for his versatility, and his works include almost every style of music from classics to Dixieland. Copacabana Samba was written in 1949, and it gives the listener a feeling for South American music. The band will now play Copacabana Samba by Harold L. Waters. Robert Loudon, 1920 to 1999, was a prolific composer and arranger whose music reached far beyond the borders of his native New Jersey. He penned over 400 advertised in jingles in his long career. But orchestras and bands know him for his many arrangements of popular and show tunes. Loudon studied at Temple University to be a music educator. Armed Forces Salute is a melody which includes a salute to each of our military services. The Army leads off with the Caisson song, followed by Sempre Paratus, Always Ready, the marching song of the Coast Guard. The honorees of the Marines hymn, the U.S. Air Force are obvious. Equally recognizable is the Navy's Anchors Away. Loudon has skillfully woven patriotic phrases as the transitions between the major melodies. Can you recognize them? Also this evening, we want to take and recognize one of our veterans. He's the former commanding officer of the 108th Army Band, you read the writing here, Arizona National Guard, Chief Warrant Officer Anthony Gonzalez. And he's sitting somewhere over here. If you'd stand up, I'm not sure we'll see you, but thank you for your service. Now also, all of you ex-vets and current military, please feel free to stand up when your song is played. The band will conclude this concert with Armed Forces Salute, arranged by Robert Loudon.
Hurry up, Gary. Now, Rick.
Thank you for coming. We hope you enjoyed our concert this evening as much as we enjoyed playing it for you. We would like to thank M.J. Smith, Director of Prescott Downtown Partnership, and Prescott Pro Sound for their assistance with the band concert this evening. We would also like to express our gratitude to Cindy and Tom Franklin for the use of the Franklin Phonetic Auditorium for our rehearsals. Cindy is sitting right over there, and Tom is right over here. Our next concert will be Sunday, January 31st, 2021 at 3 p.m. at the Davis Learning Center at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott. We
We're
look
hoping.
Yeah, we hope. The way 2020 is going, who knows? We look forward to seeing you there. We end this concert with an encore, Stars and Stripes Forever, March by John Philip Sousa.
of it. In spite of it. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Please remember to put your folders over in the box